Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ba'd fa bismillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. All praise and thanks are due to Allah and Allah's mercy and peace be upon His Messenger. Proceeding to the video, we begin with Allah's name, so peace be upon you, welcome and greetings. We're going to start, bi'idhnillah, with an English guide to all of the salah, all of the prayer. And so I'll have everything written, bi'idhnillah, in English, in a transliteration, and that way we'll go over the sounds and the pronunciation and how it should sound and all that. And with that, it should be easier to memorize it, and then we'll also put the diagrams of the position we are in the salah. But the first thing we have to cover in this video, in the introductory, is the key that I'm going to be using when I type the transliteration. So basically what I mean by that is as I type a transliteration, or as the transliteration is typed, it's going to have a little weird markings, like for example the overhead line on the A and the upper arrow on the A, and you'll see apostrophes but not for contractions and all that. So basically what this means is, if you just try to remember this part, and then bi'idhnillah, once you see the future videos, it'll make more sense. If you see an apostrophe anywhere after a letter, that means we're going to stop the noise at that letter. And if you see the normal A right here, then it's just like saying the A in cat. You know, where you say cat, ah, ah, ah. So that's just the normal A. If you see the line on top of the A, that's like the A in awesome or awe. So when you say awe, it's not like saying ah, right? So ah, awe, ah, awe. So they're kind of different. Well, they're really different. So you have ah, cat, awe, awesome. And then you have the A with the overhead line, or the upper arrow on top of it, and that basically comes from the throat. And then the reason I put the arrow is because it's going to travel, so it's going to come up from it's going to come from around the middle of the throat, and then it's going to travel up and then come out of the mouth. So it sounds like this: ah, ah, ah. So ah, aw, ah, 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 aw. So one more time: ah, aw, ah. And if I go like before, from ah to ah, 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 ah. And so you can hear the difference. And so that's one of the things that we should try to remember in this when we go through this series, inshallah. Another part of the key is that the H's, they're also going to be different. So most of the time you're going to see an H with a line next to it, either a hyphen or an underscore. So the reason being is that if you have a H, if you have the hyphen H, that signifies that it's going to be, or symbolize it's going to be from the middle of the throat. So the noise should sound like this. And so if you want some guidelines on how to properly say that, what you could try is properly sitting up straight back, chest out, look up all the way as much as you can, open your mouth as wide as you can, and just blow out air. So it would sound something like this. And so that's pretty much where the noise comes from, the middle of the throat. So it sounds like this again. Ha. Right, and then the underscore H, that signifies or symbolizes it's from the bottom of the throat, meaning the chest. So what it's gonna sound like there is like this: ha, ha. It's kind of like you say who, like if someone knocks at the door and you say who's there, who, and just try to say ha. It's just like that. So that's the two H's in Arabic, and there's two more points for the key that we'd like to go over, and that's it, bi'idhnillah. First is the normal S. This is like you're hissing. So basically you're gonna let air come out. You're gonna close your teeth, but just leave a little gap, just a small gap, and just blow out air like this. So it's not like a normal S. When we say S, it's more rooted into the middle of our mouth. In English, speaking of English, but in Arabic, the S is going to come from the front of the mouth. So you're going to close your teeth. You're going to touch the two teeth together, the ones that are highlighted, but you're just going to leave a little gap, and then you're just going to blow out air. And so that's the S, that's the normal S. The S with the bottom arrow on it is like a pump, and it comes from the middle of the mouth. So it's like you're saying So the difference is s, 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 s. So you can kind of hear the difference, and so that's where the S comes from, and it's going to be in the back of the mouth. You're kind of like, basically you could say your molars are going to be touching each other in the back, and then it's like you're shushing someone. You just say shh, but then keep your mouth exactly as is and just take out the H. So instead of saying shh, you say shh, 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 shh. Your tongue doesn't really move, your mouth doesn't move. It's all the same positioning. It's just you have to take out the H out of the sh noise. And so the last point for the key is if you see a D or a T, it's not a normal D or T like in English. They're going to come from, so this is the top two teeth. It's going to come from the back. So your tongue, the tip of your tongue, is going to touch the back of your top two teeth, and that's how you're going to generate that noise. Da and da. So da, 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 da. So it's not da and it's not ta. It's da, 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 da. And so that's pretty much the key that I wanted to cover for this video. And bi'idhnillah, after this video we'll cover the very beginning of the salah, and then soon after we'll be covering Surah Al-Fatiha, the opening prayer, inshallah. So assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.